Hi everyone. I was just planning my new video on 2018 and this is it. I just went, I'm having all these insights and all this perspective on what's been happening over the last couple of decades, what's happened this year and what's coming next year. So I thought, look, I'm just going to record it and we'll take it from there. So it's a bit casual, but very, very focused in the sense of really coming to grips with what we've been going through over the last 30 years, what's been going on in 2017, and what's that setting up for 2018, and how you can take real advantage. I mean, real advantage, not how you can take real advantage, but how you can get real benefit out of what is available to us in 2018. And to do that, you've got to have perspective on the past so that you know the backdrop and where we're coming from. But the real future is bringing the future into the present. And the future is not fixed. So what we decide now to bring in to our lives is going to not determine the future, but open the doors to how good the future will be. Now, it's not a matter of how good or bad. The future is going to be unlike anything we've ever experienced before. But how good? I mean, how willing are we to open up to what's possible? How willing are we to deal with this incredible sense of uncertainty that we've all been dealing with, particularly over this last year, but even for decades? And how willing are we to really grow and change and mature as human beings? So let's go back and put things in perspective on what's been really going on in the last 30 years and bring it right down to what's going on now. Now, the 1990s, and I'm going to put this in very simple, practical language without all the, highbrow stuff or the spiritual stuff. The 1990s was about turning up as who you really are. And why the practical outcome of that was so that you could do three things that we're all capable of doing. Now, I do a lot of work with a thing called human design, which some of you may have heard of. And what's inherent in that map, in that operating manual, is that there are parts of us that are fine to do things. You might say to give that energy and put it into doing. There are parts of us that are designed to receive. And when you put that together, it's who you are to be. So we've all got the ability to give, to receive, and to be. And when we're doing all of those, breathing out, breathing in, right, giving, receiving, then we can be alive. No one can do everything themselves. They need to receive support. It's that simple, so that they can have a life. Okay, so the 1990s was essentially about we need to turn up as who we really are so we can give, bring to the table who we are and what we truly have to give, receive the support and the beauty and all the good things that life has to offer, and really live, really live a life that we're designed to have, that is right for us. And the key to pulling all that together was getting in touch with being empowered. You can't give your gifts unless you feel empowered to do so. It's that simple. Now, I could go into more, but that gives you a sense. The 1990s were, hey, this is going to be different. The world that we're now moving into is not another version, better or worse, of the old world. This is new territory. This is unexplored territory. And if you're going to go into unexplored territory, you've got to turn up. You know, you can't just hang around in the background. You've got to participate as who you really are. And you've got to put in, and you've got to receive support, and you've got to be yourself. And that puts you in a situation where being empowered is really important. And looking back on what I've understood about human design, and then where we're going to take it, me and the people I work with are going to take it over the next year and decades, is that empowerment is absolutely crucial. And that's one of the reasons, you know, understanding your design, understanding your operating system is so crucial. Because you need to be empowered, you need to turn up as who you really are. But then the 2000 to 2009, it was all about, okay, if you're going to turn up, what are you dealing with? What's really going on in the environment around you? What sort of space? What sort of environment? What sort of domain are you in? What's going on here? What needs to go on here? What's it been like? Where does it need to go? You know, it's sort of like you turn up in a new country and it's like, okay, what's the environment here? Well, it's not just one, there's many of them. Okay, which environments are right for me? Which environments do I struggle with? What's going on? You know, is there a drought, or is there political upheaval, or is there whatever. And the one thing that was clear, and it's clear when you go to a new country, is your life's going to expand. So the practical side was not about giving and being, giving and receiving, or doing things and receiving things and being yourself. It was more about truly, where are the opportunities to truly do what I'm here to do? What new opportunities do I have to receive? And what new opportunities do I have to be? What can I be in an expand? And being myself, does that mean I need to expand my horizons, or expand how I express myself, or expand the way I operate? Or take on board fully my capacity to operate as an individual and unique human being? Where do I need to expand? And so the thing that brought that together, like, say, look, why are you expanding? How are you going to expand? Like giving and receiving and being yourself, and doing things and, allowing things. That required that you get in touch with your power, you be empowered. Well, expansion requires learning, understanding, far more than just learning. You can learn about a culture, but when you understand a culture, and I've had a lot of experience in that in the last year for me, when you really understand rather than learn about a culture, but really start to get it, and it starts to work in your life, and you understand not only how it works, but why it works, and you start to understand your particular prejudices coming from a different culture and biases, and then see, okay, you can learn a lot, you can expand yourself, but it requires a spirit of really understanding, being understanding. And that decade, understand the world we live in, understand how you've been living your life till now, understanding where your life needs to change and grow and evolve. And part of that was more expansion and understanding leads to freedom. And 2008 was all about freedom. And that's where Barack Obama was elected. And we had 8 years. But the problem with freedom is if you don't pair it with responsibility, it eventually turns into a form of tyranny. And we're seeing a lot of that in the world at the moment. And I don't mean political, I mean, you know, I'm free to say whatever I think, no matter what the consequences, and you can't, you know, right? There's this sort of tyranny of correctness that comes up. And so but the key to the last decade, and I mean 2000s, was we're now in a world not only where we need to turn up fully, but it's expanding and it requires more understanding. And then we came into this decade, and that's about setting things in motion. It's like, okay, you've got to turn up and you're in a new environment, or you've got to know the environment and understand and be able to grow and expand in the environment. But what are you doing? Why? Why do you need to give more of who you truly are and receive more support and be more yourself? You know, why do you need to have better ways of making decisions? I mean, understand why. And with that understanding comes freedom. How do you exercise that freedom? You know, because it's really important to be able to be ready to move into something that's very, very new. And this decade, 2010, 2019, is about setting things in motion, which means moving into the unknown, into something that's new, embracing it, tackling it, dealing with it, coming to terms with it, putting together, you know, new approaches to things. And at the core of this decade that we're in at the moment, it requires innovation. Innovation is the key. Innovation doesn't necessarily mean you've got to throw out the old. It means you take it to a new level of expression. Not a better, a new, innovative. You know, it's a new level of cooperation, a new level of working together, a new level. Innovation is the key this decade, practically. The outcome of that is being able to work together in teams, not just groups, not just get along, not just put up with other people imposing laws on you or rebelling against everything. It's like being able to come together and work together as teams. And that led up to 2016. And of course, you saw the most divisive election, you know, that many of us have seen, although, you know, we tend to forget what happened in the decades before. But there's this whole thing of like, are we innovating or are we going back to the past? Are we innovating and are we actually working together? Oh yes, I've been innovating for years, but I hate all the other people on the other side of whatever, business, politics, the other side of the street. It doesn't matter. Then you're not innovating. Because true innovation leads to greater cooperation and coordination and co-creation. Put really simply in practical terms, real teamwork, where people really get somewhere and achieve far, far more than they've ever achieved. See, we're going into something new. So we can't get along on the old standards. We need to be able to achieve more than we've ever achieved before. Now that thinks, oh, okay, more effort. No. What happened to the human brain? This brain that we have as human beings is smaller than Neanderthals. It's definitely smaller than whales, and I think elephants and other creatures like that, other mammals. Our brain, over the last tens of thousands of years, has become smaller, but able to do more with less. Just like yourself, like your phone, you know, or your computer. So we need to be able to get together and do far more with less, not necessarily less quality, but with less struggle, with less waste of energy, with less effort, so that we can truly enjoy life more. This is the way the world's going. And if innovation is creating separation, it's not innovation. It's just the old stuff, all dressed up in new clothes. And it doesn't matter which side, there's a need for us to innovate in the way we work together. Everywhere, from, one-on-one people to countries. Now, 2017, for that to happen, three things have to fall into place. One is you've got to assess what's going down and see, is this really new or just the same old stuff dressed up in new clothes? You need to look at things and go, oh, that looks old-fashioned, but if it's working, maybe you need to re-evaluate. This whole year was forcing us to stop and go, where are we really being innovative? Where are we really getting closer and more effective at working together? Not just with people who agree with us. And this is crucial. There's nothing new in getting together with people who all think or do the same thing. Nothing. It's been going on for tens of thousands of years. Same tribe, same colour, same ideas, same environment, same this. No, it doesn't matter. It's not a matter of those issues. Nothing wrong with getting together in groups and tribes. We're all different colours, and we're still human beings, and we deserve that respect. We have different ideas. We're different. We see things in different ways. And the real trick is, how do we do that? How do we actually really come together and work without having to control those differences, deny, dominate, whatever? And this is where we're at. And it's happening between our mind and our body at the moment for every one of us, whether we're conscious of it or not. Working with human design as I do, and then evolving human design to a much more practical, easy to relate to, work to level that does not dumb it down, but actually brings out the real benefits. It's a real task to just, really get my mind and my body to work together, to get fundamental principles and make them clearer so anyone can relate to them, not just the people who know the jargon. To cross the political divide, to cross the cultural divide. That's where we truly need to be innovative. And to do that, we have to find what are the true values. What's truly valuable about a person? The fact that they agree with you, or the fact that they're alive? What's truly valuable about being alive? All of these, and it's because of where we've come from, the thousands of years of history, that has thrown us into a place during the last year and a half of incredible uncertainty, of realizing there's so much more we need to understand, and there's so much more we need to empower ourselves with. We need to be far more empowered as individuals and far more understanding of the world, of the domains, of the reality that we live in, and actually live in it, not live purely in a virtual world or an imaginary world. It's not balanced. Not just in our minds, but we have a body. And the opportunity lies in really embracing that. Not just in your cell phone, but the opportunity lies in living a life in this world. Don't throw out your cell phone, but live in this world as well, you know. Where's the value? And this has been confusing and uncertain because everything's changing. And that's what happens when you have to turn up, really expand, and be innovative. You've got to find your power, understand what's going on, and be able to really come to grips with what's going down and what needs to change, where you can add value, you know, the year of evaluation, adding value, adding value. And that leads us to 2018, which is a year all about acceptance. Now, there's no doubt 2017 has been challenging in any number of ways. (2018) is, say, when you face that challenge, when you've started to assess and evaluate your life and really come to grips with it, the realities of it, all of it, you know, from the fact that we do have imagination, we do live in a virtual world, but we do have a physical body, and, you know, that is far more better at making decisions than, you know, making decisions from off here in our heads. And human beings don't need to prove their worth. Every single one of them is worthy. And that doesn't mean just the poor and oppressed, although it definitely means them. It means the privileged as we see it. I've met poor and oppressed people who are atrocious, and wealthy and amazing people, you know, amazing in terms of gift, who are just, you know, film stars and things I wouldn't go near. And one thing I've noticed about all of them is they're human. Doesn't matter what level of society. You know, I've come across people who are some of the wealthiest people in the world, who one of them here has passed away, but was pretty much close to a living saint, who may have any pretensions about it, who truly served, who truly dedicated his life. And people who have nothing who do the same thing in my life. And this 2018 is really, hey, we're not going to gain the benefits of living in a world that is new, filled with opportunities to expand, filled with far greater opportunities to do what you're designed to do, what you can do, what you've got the gift of doing, and to receive the support in the way that you're great at receiving support, and to be who you truly are. The world that's emerging now, there's never been a greater opportunity to fully turn up, to find where you fit. Not because you think you do, but because that's where you belong. And there's never been a greater need for innovation. One of the programs we're literally about to promote massively in the next month or two, and a couple of months throughout 2018, is a program called Innovation, right? Team creation, or teams, you know, that working together, and design, or your design. You know, three things that people we need to come to grips at the end of this decade with. What is innovation for you? How do we innovate in the world in a way that we Innovation is something, as I said, that brings us together and enables us to create teams and alliances. Now, it doesn't mean someone who's not going that way is bad. It just means they're putting their finger on an issue we need to address and deal with really practically in the real world. So this goes from being a dream and an ideal that it's been for thousands of years and turns into something that really happens in the real world with real people and doesn't leave even 10% of the world hating the rest of it, or 50% oppressed and impoverished. And that's not human. It's not the way we were designed. It's not the way life works. We created that. We didn't create it by being bad people. Some people did bad things in the midst of all that and took advantage of it. But whatever that was, we've got the opportunity now to change that. You know, the true meaning of karma. If you hurt people in the past, love them now. If you created poverty and struggle and wars in the past, create sustainable lives with enough food to eat, enough water to drink, enough practical down-to-earth stuff, enough space and education and dignity for people to blossom. Create that now. Contribute to that. Get in touch with what you can do and where you can accept and receive, and get in touch with who you are, your being. Expand and innovate. That's the answer to all the crap that's gone on in the past and still continues in the world today. You know, turn up fully, expand, innovate. And 2018 is go, look, are you up for it or not? Are you going to accept what's happening in the world or try and hang on to the past, whether it's 10,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago or the last 30 years of being a hippie? Or are you going to accept what is really going on here and turn up? And that's where the big issues are going to be. There's not a lot happening astrologically. There's a process of like lots of stationary points in the big outer planets, which means there are big forces at work. You know, Pluto in Capricorn, Neptune in Pisces, working away as they have been for years and will do for years to come. Uranus is moving into Taurus, big change this year. Chiron's moving into Aries, big change. Saturn has just moved into Sagittarius, big change. I've talked about that in another video. So we really need, with Saturn in Sagittarius, to put structures together that are expansive and inspiring, not idealistic. They need to be practical, practical, practical. Oh, the world will all be. No. Come up with, hey, if you're going to inspire me, show me the practical way to embrace it. You know, Uranus going into Taurus. Okay, let's innovate with the physical world, land, possessions, money, cryptocurrency. Let's innovate. Doesn't mean it's all going to be good. You know, there's going to be lots of unpredictable stuff going on with values. But the physical world, the beauty, the energy, the value of the physical world is going to show up in really surprising ways, ways that are more conscious. And so innovation with technology, cool. I get that. Uranus in Aries. Innovation with earth technology, the earth, growing farms, you know, anything to do with the elements, wind, water, sunlight, farming, growing, being more conscious about what we do. You know, we're becoming more and more conscious over the last 7 years about the impact of what we do. And that can be, oh, I'm super idealistic, but all the rest of the countries in the world are taking advantage of it. Okay, maybe I need to do this a little more practically. Technology, ding, 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 ding. Okay, but we're getting lost in it. You know, I see people driving motorbikes like this in one of the worst places to drive a motorbike when you're not looking, Thailand. It's just like, you know, going out to a club and 3 of the people we're with spend the whole night looking at their cell phones. It's like, hey. You know, but now bring it back to, okay, become conscious of the fact we've got bodies, Taurus. We're living on the earth. There's beautiful flowers. You can grow vegetables. You can deal with the physical things, the air, the wind, the water. Well, you know, especially the earth. You know, working creatively with crystals, whether it's in science and technology or more metaphysical things. And then there's Chiron going into Aries. Okay, we've done all these things. People have been acting and operating really idealistically or unpredictably or, you know, innovatively in the sense of technological and all that. Okay, now, where do we need to heal that? Where do we need to make it more healthy? How do we make cell phones and computers and that healthier, more healing, rather than separating, bringing people together, healing them in a way that's more, how can I put this, magical. And I mean that in the sense of allowing us to recognize that we are empowered. We can change our lives. You know, what a magician really does, bottom line, is turn negative things into positive things. Of course, there's the old film of negative magicians who take positive things and make it negative, but the real magic, with it, whatever you call it, you know, you don't have to call it magic. Anybody who does in any area of life, cooking, cannolis, you know, you name it, who just takes something that, gee, this thing's a bit fattening and full of cheese and da-da-da-da, but oh my God, this is magic. This is beautiful, right? Magic opens you to life because it shows you what's great about it. Magic is taking something that isn't working well and making it great, making it supportive, making it positive. And so there's going to be a lot of healing, not only of assertiveness and technology and that, but even masculine energy now needs to go. There's this period of healing. Just as with women, you know, more Tory and have got this opportunity now to just be more innovative as women, not the same as nerds, all these males in, you know, Silicon Valley. No, in a feminine way. What does it mean to be innovative? I've had some brilliant women mentors in my life. What a blessing. Elder women who truly know the feminine. Every man should have one, and every woman should know more than one. When you see what women are capable of, when they truly know their power and they don't have to show it off, and what they do when you need them, it's, you know, that's magic. That's really is magic. because it changes negative into positive. It's what women are so good at doing when they know their power, their true power, not when they're imitating the power of men. And now it's time for women to be more free, innovative. While the male energy heals, women can be more innovative and empowering. Remember, the whole beginning of this 30-year period was we need to get empowerment happening. Women are the empowerers. I've been empowered by women many times in my life, including 2 or 3 days ago by my partner, unbelievably so. Busting men is not women's role. Empowering them to do what they truly want to do. And then a man will give his total heart and soul to supporting you in your creative endeavors. And this is a time for this to open up everywhere, not just for women, but in everything that's to do with the earth and the land and what is feminine. And it's not idealistic. It's very down to earth now. Is this working? Your idealism won't grow a coconut tree, but water will, and love and care and attention will. It won't grow a tamarind tree, but care, attention, good earth, good soil, water, that'll do it. Women are so creative. And this is what we need to accept. It's one of the things, the true role of women and the feminine energy, the true role of masculine, and heal it. Not by just getting all new agey. That there's some good stuff in there. But by really healing it where it truly counts. Empowering the masculine. The masculine needs feminine and masculine energy to grow. A boy and a young man needs input from women and men. Women who empower, men who walk the path with them, who are strong. And this is what this year's setting up. Accepting the realities, accepting the changes in the world, accepting the world has changed and it is changing. Things, in many areas for all of us, things have not worked out the way we thought they should, because that's not the way to go. Whatever you thought before that, hopefully it really supported you. But now it has to change. And the huge thing is bringing it into the real world, because 2019 is a year of grace, which means by 2019, we're going to be set up to start operating in the world the way that comes naturally to us. Now, it doesn't mean we'll all do that in 2019 any more than we'll all accept what's going on. But these are years to set it up so that you can learn, so you can discover what acceptance means to you, and you can become more accepting and continue to do that for years ahead. And then grace to learn to do what comes naturally to you. For me, we're going to be working with Innovation, Team Creation, Your Design, that program, with the Master Design program I do, where I work intensively with people one-on-one. Awesome program. Everyone who's completed has either become a member of my team or signed up again. I mean, that's cool. Now I know this works. This really works for people. Getting them to be empowered to understand how they operate and to evaluate what they're capable of, and then to get on with it in whatever area of life is important to them. no matter how successful they've been. I remember seeing Mark Cuban interviewed and saying, da-da-da, I've achieved all this, da-da-da-da. Oh, but my 14-year-old daughter, oh my God. You know, and I was just sitting there going, Mark, I could help you there. You know, it's like, whew. Hey, I've got a 12-year-old, you know. Understanding how things are evolving and developing, it really helps understanding where we're growing, how we're growing, and having maps of our operating system and how to understand that so we can treat each person as a unique individual and encourage them to take the path and to make the decisions that the way they're meant to make decisions, so that they follow their path, not someone else's or a path they've been deluded into thinking is theirs, but to discover and walk and enjoy that, so people can innovate, so people can work together, and people can accept that we're different, and that's an asset. And that the way we work together, there's certain structures or certain designs, ways that bring out the best in us and help us work together far more effectively. And that you're unique, accepting that about myself. That's going to be, I mean, just leading into this year, it's been strong enough already. It's like having to accept who I really am, working with other people who are different and bringing those differences out. Jupiter is the only planet that triggers off other planets this year. Jupiter's in Scorpio. Expand. Really getting authentic and real in our lives. Expand our businesses. Expand our true passions. Get real. Work together intimately. Create great, powerful teams. Treat each other with courtesy. Empower each other. Understand the depths of what we share and who we are, and find the value. To Jupiter, expand all of that Scorpio. Scorpio ultimately leads to new life that leaves the old behind as though it's just done. And that's the only planet that triggers off Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Chiron through this year. It's like we need a bit of all of those things I talked about need to be looked at in terms of where's the value, how can, not only what is the value and where is it, but how do I accept that value? You know, someone can give you 10 gold bars, but if you don't accept it, what's the point? Oh no, that's greedy. I want you to have these, to work with them, to do something meaningful. Oh, that's being greedy. Hey, be humble. And this is one of the great things that this year, 2017, because it's 2 or 3 days to go, 2017 has been about teaching all of us in different ways humility. We thought we had it all figured out. We think we know the way things are going. No, be humble, open to something. There's more there than you could ever imagine. And if you don't believe that there's more than you could ever imagine, there's no point for expansion. So be open at different points, and I'll do some videos this year about when, you know, significant things happen. Be really there and ready when it's time to authentically expand in a way that allows you to change your life physically and heal your life in the way you do things so you can do them better. Get in touch with the power of your authority within you. Pluto. Actually, Saturn's in Capricorn. Hey, okay, I'm not perfect. Saturn's in Capricorn now. The last year, or the last 7 years, it was in Sagittarius. Now, we need to get in touch with our inner authority and be the authors of our own reality. The ball's in our court now. We write the script, and it's got to work in the real world. In other words, we cannot impose our will and our desires and our script on something that's supporting us with so much generosity and so much quiet humility. We can't use our ego and smash it on the world, whether it's from egotistical material points of view or egotistical spiritual points of view or anything in between. You need to say, this is my script. I love this. This is what I would. Now, when's the energy and the timing right to synchronize this with everything that's supporting me? That's adult. That's real. Accept what's going on. Accept who you are. Accept your dreams. Accept how you operate, so that you can put it together and be part of this amazing time that we're in. Never been a time like it in history, ever. So it's been a while, but I hope you've got some real benefit out of that. I'm not just doing these videos anymore just to get attention. I'm not. I'm doing this because this is my passion. This is my gift. What I say here, I hope inspires or helps you or gives you an insight or really gives you a benefit. And everything I'm going to be doing, including the programs we release, the consultations I have available, it's all about benefits to you. One of the greatest joys I get in life is helping people find the benefits that lie within their life, within their design, within their makeup, and within the people around them and the place they live and the world that they're a part of. When I can help you take wherever you are, no matter how successful or unsuccessful, if you're stuck or if you just want to improve things, take it to a whole new level, I'm there for you. I'll help you if you're open to it and you're willing to receive that help. 2008, hey, you can accept it or not, totally up to you. That's what this next year is about. But where you can receive help, it's a great year to open up to it, to turn whatever's negative in your life or whatever you think is negative out there, turn it into positive by not rejecting it, but by accepting and discovering the value in it. So then you can innovate and bring about real change. Then we'll be able to at least have the potential and then realize that over the decades to come of doing what comes naturally and starting to enjoy the real potential of human beings and where this world can take us. So have a wonderful 2018. Truly. It's going to be, well, change is increasing, so it's always going to be challenging. But there's going to be so much more to discover there if you're willing to accept it and work with it. Have a great time. Talk to you again soon.